On behalf of the Dwyer Group team, I'd like to welcome you to Stay Connected, our quarterly communication from World Headquarters. This has been a very busy and productive year for all of us. And as we finish the year strong, it's also a time to begin planning for 2016. The original code of values that ties nicely to this issue is we believe in clear, cooperative, positive thinking. And one of the best ways to do this is to plan and prioritize. In last quarter's Stay Connected, we reminded you to live by design and not by default, which begins by having a strong foundation. I encourage you to slow down and assess how you and your team are living up to the values, the true foundation for our success. Is it time for a company-wide refresher course? Do you have a few values that you personally need to work on? I know I do. Have you surveyed your team to see how they believe your leadership team is living the values? If you're in need for resources related to the Code of Values, simply go to your company intranet site or ask your franchise consultant. Now please welcome Mike Bidwell for some important tips on how to make the best of 2016.
Greetings. Very nice to be with you again on this next installment of our Stay Connected video series. When I came into the office this morning, among the emails waiting for me was a quote action from the poet Oliver Goldsmith. Goldsmith said, "One seldom improves when all they have to model after is themselves." How true that is. I'd like to spend the next couple of minutes talking to you about growth. We've had a tremendous amount of growth at the Dwyer Group over the last year or so. In a 14-month period, we completed 5 acquisitions. Those acquisitions resulted in increasing our system sales by more than 50%, coupled with our organic growth. And on the front edge of that 14-month period, we recently repartnered with the Riverside Company. So all the more reason why budgeting and planning is so important for us this year. Now, for years, we've spent a tremendous amount of time in budgeting and planning, hundreds and hundreds of man hours. We look at each and every one of our business units, and we look at each and every line item within those business units, both on the revenue and the expense side. And we do this through several iterations. For each of those revenue generators, we ask, is this initiative bringing us everything that we think it should? And for each of the expense line items, we ask, is this getting us the results that we expect? Or are those resources better used with another initiative? Just last week, I was in a budget review meeting with one of our brands, and the brand president said, had I not just seen this accomplished in this other brand, I would have told you that it wasn't possible. And that brings me to the concept of the 4-minute mile. For decades, really since the history of man, people thought it was impossible to break the 4-minute mile. A human couldn't run a mile faster than that. They thought all kinds of crazy things would happen. They thought the lungs might explode, all kinds of crazy things. Until, in 1957, Roger Bannister broke that mark. The very next year, quite a number of people broke the 4-minute mile. In fact, today, they've shaved 17 seconds off that record, which is an enormous amount of time. It's quite a distance for such a short race, all because of what people knew to be true, what they knew to be possible. At Dwyer, today with all the service verticals, all the brands that we have, and all the brand presidents, it allows us to benchmark across our brands. We can share innovation, and we can compare what's possible with regard to managing and growing our businesses. You have the same resource available to you in your toolbox. That's one of the beautiful things about franchising. It's one of the powerful dynamics that exists in a franchise system. You can benchmark against other franchisees setting out to do the same thing that you're doing. So I would encourage you to find others that are doing some part of the business better than you, or some part of the business where they're doing more than you, and figure out why it is they're doing that. See what is possible. Let's see what your 4-minute mile is. Now, you've heard before that failure to plan is planning to fail. You've also heard that those that set budgets and those that set targets achieve far more than those that don't. And really, a budget is just a target. It's a plan. So if you haven't done a budget in your plan for next year, I would encourage you to get with your support person and do so. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be very sophisticated. You can start with a very simple, high-level plan, and you can build from there. I know you'll accomplish much more if you do that. I wish you all the best and all the prosperity that you deserve in the year to come.
Thank you, Mike. And please be sure to watch the rest of this video as your fellow franchisees share their success stories. We wish you and your families a blessed holiday season.
It all happened when I turned 50, and I had been in the investment business for 28 years as a equity stock trader. And when I turned 50, I turned to my wife and I said, I have to figure out chapter 2 because I can't keep doing this. So we started looking around, and I looked at a couple of different franchise opportunities, and I stumbled upon the grounds guys. I had done landscape maintenance in high school and college, and always liked to be outside, always wanted to do something along those lines. And sure enough, I found the grounds guys, and I loved the systems that they had in place, and the people were just fantastic. My franchise consultant is probably the best one in the grounds guys. He's phenomenal. He's helped me from starting lawnmowers right up to fixing my books, and it's been a great ride.
Well, a great advantage of being part of a franchise is that you can share best practices. We have a greenhorn call for those franchises that are 2 years and under, and we talk about challenges that we face in the business and ways to resolve them. I also really like the support of the franchise consultant, that you can call them if you're in the field and you need questions answered because you don't understand like an application or how to solve an issue or how to price something, that there are other resources. It's wonderful to come to a reunion because you do meet other business owners, and because you're part of the Dwyer Group, you meet business owners in other trades that are similar, and it's interesting to hear things that they're doing. And it's all about getting different ideas and sharing best practices because it helps everybody.